October 12th, 2013. The state of Odisha is on red alert. As the winds grow stronger, many think back to 1999, the year Odisha was left in wreckage. Another cyclone is fast approaching, Cyclone Phailin. As the country's biggest evacuation operation gets underway, the dreaded storm makes its landfall in Gopalpur in the night. The storm has passed, leaving behind a trail of destruction and displacing millions.
Immediately after a cyclone is when time is of the essence. It's absolutely critical to get important life-saving information out to people as soon as possible. So literally every minute that we lose is a minute wasted.
The day after the storm, the BBC Media Action Office is abuzz. Essential relief information needs to be disseminated to millions across all affected areas. And with this objective begins the first ever Lifeline communication program at the India office. The first 3 public service announcements, or PSAs, focus on clean drinking water, diarrhea and hand washing.
This was a race against time. We had to script, record, produce and send out the PSAs to a network of AIR, a community radio and FM stations, all within 72 hours of the landfall.
The next step is to scale up this effort, to bring together various stakeholders, from government officers, local NGOs, as well as private FM and community radio stations. A workshop is organized at Puri and Konark, which sees enthusiastic participation at the local level.
Lifeline programming is special radio, indeed it can be TV programming, for people who've been affected by a disaster. It provides them with useful, relevant, timely and practical information that they can use to mitigate the risks that they face, to be able to access all the aid that may be available for them, and also to give them a voice.
After a few rounds of discussions and brainstorming sessions, there is consensus on what needs to be done. A radio show with a rural flavor is the answer. The next step for the Lifeline communication programming.
सोटर ना थिला आमे आपणक साथी रे बा वी आर विथ यू एथरे किछि बहुत बड़ जिनस किछि कहै जाय नथिला फाइलिन पर को छोटिया छोटिया सिंपल डुएबल एक्शन गुडाक जहा द्वारा करबा द्वारा लोक माने निज जीवन को टिके सहज करि परिबे.
The core insight of the heart of the show is that knowledge is the key. Knowledge is power, and this is very beautifully embodied in the Oriya proverb, Janile Koribe, Janile Jinipe. To know is to do, to know is to win.
A team from BBC Media Action plans a month-long capacity building and production training workshop for the 4 community radio stations in Odisha: Radio Sanskar in Jagatsinghpur, Radio Kisan in Balipatna, Radio Muskan in Phulbani, and Radio Namaskar in Konark. A whole host of issues have to be tackled, from health and livelihood to soil erosion and alternate sources of income. Our team, along with local reporters at the radio stations, identified 20 key issues, one for each episode.
Lifeline जरिया रे जेमती कि BBC आसिला आम रेडियो को आम रेडियो थ्रू रे लोक मानक पाखे साहाय्य पहुँचेला यह बहुत ही बढ़िया थिला आउ आमे गोटे दिन भितर एमिति प्रोग्राम करथलु जेमती कि आगरु केबे भी आमे एमिति करनथु.
As the work on phase 2 begins, the situation on ground has become worse. Heavy rain leaves several places waterlogged and hits power. For such a situation, a new solution is needed. Miking activity is planned so that information is disseminated through loudspeakers mounted on vehicles.
2013 जो फाइलिन हेतिला दुई थर प्रचार आस्थिले प्रचार परे मते लोक माने पचारिथिले हाइड्रोजन बटिका विषय रे मु तांकू हाइड्रोजन बटिका पकई की पानी रे पीले कोन उपकारिता होबो.
In that situation, Dahuk Sangeet was the best bet. It is one of the most popular local raps in Odisha, and we were confident it's going to catch the attention of our listeners.
Well, Dahuk Sangeet was the clutter breaker in this scenario, and we got singers and musicians from the local Odia film industry.
Odisha has been very vulnerable to disasters like cyclone, flood, droughts and so on. and wherever the communication mediums are taken actively, we see that the human casualties go down drastically. So BBC Media Action's interventions definitely helped us because the radio programs reached out to the community directly.
Odisha will have to cope with cyclones again. Hopefully, the Lifeline programming work after Phailin can be a useful blueprint on how to communicate the right information at the right time, and most importantly, using the right platforms.
ଜାଣିଲେ ଜିଣିବୁ ଜାଣିଲେ କରିବୁ।